Yeah. So type in Command Shift P, search in Codium authorization. It should automatically basically paste it in there.
What?
Works? You got it?
I think so.
Oh, nice. Let's go.
Is that yeah? We have the
No
same.
problem.
I copy. I never pasted it.
Oh, okay,
It
go back to the
auto
code
brings
space.
it over.
It showed that.
It's just
right?
like page
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then when you search, when you press Control Shift
Connect
P,
streaming software to
you should have an option to search. That's in the code space. And then search Codium authorization.
Is it live online? I just start publishing now. Oh, is it just live? Yeah, it's live. That is true.
What was that? Yeah, just
Copy.
go to messages and just send it to me. I'll check it out on my side. Oh yeah, Discord works too.
Cool. Did it work?
Yeah.
Let's go. Is it live? Cool.
Works? You guys set?
Yeah.
You need any help?
Did it work?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes.
It's not loading?
Nice.
it's not logging.
But the audio is
It's not loading.
I mean,
Works? Okay, it's not logging. You guys set? It's probably an issue with their server. We could skip that step.
Audio exit.
Yeah, forget about coding. Let's just go back to code spaces. Is everybody on code space? Like the text editor with all the code? Okay, cool. So everybody has an environment set up. That's a huge milestone. Now we're gonna get started with coding. So this is what we're gonna build. Website for getting an email wait list for simple AI product. We'll have a header, tagline, call to action button, and then 3 cards talking about what the product is. Once you click this button, it's going to take us to a different page where you can sign up by entering your email and join the wait list. Make sense? Dope. Okay, let's start building it out. If you go back to code spaces, there's going to be a bunch of files. Let's just go through this real quickly. I'm on dark mode. You guys are probably on light mode. It's not going to matter. On the left over here is where all the files are for the project. Once you click this button, the ones we're going to be dealing with are the files in this app folder. You guys see that? And we have a couple different folders here. We have one for font, one for the API. We'll talk about that in a second, what that means. We have a layout page and the layout file and then a page file. So if you press Control and then like the squiggly line button next to the 1 key on your keyboard, that opens up your terminal. You guys managed to get your terminal open? Yeah, that's just Control and then kind of like that squiggly line / apostrophe button next to 1. There it opens up your terminal. So do this. Here, let me open a new one just so that we're all on the same page. Type in npm run dev, just like that. So space run space dev, and then press enter. And then now it's gonna like start the app locally on your computer. And then you're gonna get a little pop up at the bottom right. Just press open in browser, and then you're gonna see the app.
It says stage 1 next not
And stage 1 next, same. I try this. Go back to the terminal and then type in node install. Or sorry, npm install. And then you're gonna get npm install. npm space install. Install it. And then right after that, try npm run dev again. Go back to the terminal. Did it work for you guys?
It's like loading.
It's loading.
Oh.
I started this new one.
An npm dev.
Run dev. What do you mean? Oh, how do I do that? Come on. Oh, right.
Should be open in the browser.
Yeah. Press that green button that says open in the browser. Did it work for everybody? I heard you guys were having some problems.
Is that the page?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. So basically, what happened is you run the you ran that command npm run dev that basically starts the app on your computer locally. Um, so let's go through what's on the page right now. So all of this is just boilerplate code. Basically, what that means is when you start a Next.js project, and I know we didn't talk about what Next.js is. Basically, a collection of like different functions and libraries to help you like build stuff quickly. This is just a boilerplate that comes with it. Obviously, we don't need any of this. So go back to your code space and then go to that page.tsx file under the app folder on the left. You guys see it? Okay, so this is what we're gonna do, okay? Quickly, let's go over the structure of a TSX file. So it's a function, right? Where it says export default function. Basically what that means is this is the home function and this is what it returns. And everything you see in the return tag is like all the elements that show up on the web page, right? So that's what we saw earlier on the localhost server. What we're gonna do is to delete all this quickly. Right next to line 5, you're gonna see like a drop down arrow. Just press that drop down arrow, and it's gonna collapse everything. And then we're just gonna delete all of that. Now we're gonna start from scratch. Okay. Did it work for you guys? Cool. Now this is what we're gonna do. Type in div, and it should autocomplete for you and press enter. Did that work for you guys? You guys have an empty div now in the return?
Yeah, but can you repeat how to?
Yeah, so did you delete all the, okay, after that, just type in div and press enter. It should autocomplete for you.
Like in line 4.
Yeah. Did it autocomplete and now we have like 2 divs, a closing tag and an opening tag like that?
Yeah, but they're like side by side, not like.
Yeah, if that's the case, just they're side by side like this. Just go right in the middle and press enter. Put them on a new line.
How do you remove the old code? Do you remove the old code?
Yeah, so when you do on line 5, there's like a little arrow over there. That's just to collapse it. Once you collapse it, just delete all that code and then type in div again for a new one.
Where do I delete? Yeah, it's supposed to be the.
Are you guys set?
I'm just trying to get to the
Cool. Cool.
package.
Okay. So if you save now, if you press Command S, and then if you go back to the localhost server and reload, okay, you might have to start this over. Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's empty. Now we're gonna rebuild what we have in Figma from scratch.
People are kind of behind. What we do so far, so these are caps them up.
We created a new.
They change packages on it all.
No, we had to do node install, but now we just deleted the boilerplate page.tsx file. Yeah.
No packages.
Like, could you go over how you did like the part?
Which command? npm run dev.
Or so I'm at like where the divs are like there and there. So what I do after that?
Do you have like 2 empty divs?
Delete up to one.
Or is it like the ones previously with all the stuff in between?
Like 2 empty divs.
Okay, cool. That's where we should be. Are they side by side or like right underneath each other?
They're right underneath me.
Okay.
Right.
That's all the stuff.
Yeah, it should be like that. We're set.
So what I do after that?
We'll get to that in a moment. Let's make sure everybody's caught up. Ben, Carter, you guys good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Naksha, you good? Okay.
I didn't delete. And the image you go open.
Just the image.
Who knows? Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, dude. Right, right.
So just remove everything inside. So just have it like. Is everybody else caught up? That's. Have you go to the preview? Should be done.
Yeah.
feedback. Yeah. If you type anything inside those divs, it's gonna show up as well.
Cool. Are we set?
Everybody else caught up?
Yes.
Okay. Now we basically have an empty page, so let's start coding. We look on Figma. There's a couple elements. Let's start with the header first. So let me just copy that text. In between the divs, type H1, and then type in that text, which is supercharge your productivity, the AI powered focus. Doesn't have to be exact, right? If you got the spelling wrong, doesn't really matter. This is just a trial run. But yeah, make sure that text is in between those two tags, the H1 tag and the closing H1 tag. Reset. Just keep pushing. Cool. All right. So at that top H1 over there, for me, it's line 6. If we're on different lines, that's fine. But at that top H1, right behind that closing arrow, type a space and then type in class name. And then class name equals and then do double quotes. Now, what that is you apply the styling to an element on a page with different classes. So if you want to change the color, the size, if you want to add a border, whatever you want to do to make it visually look however you want it to look, you add different class names. And we're using Tailwind, which is a collection of CSS classes, where you could just write in the Tailwind classes instead of having to write CSS manually by yourself, right? So let's look back at this. The styling we're going to need for this header, have it super big, just centered in the screen. And yeah, I guess let's start with that. So let's make it text, probably 8XL, so that's text dash 8XL, font dash bold, text dash center, also do W dash fit, and then MX auto. So that's a bunch of classes. We'll go through them one by one. Let me know when you guys are set.
Which one?
9-6. Like you can do fast things.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Can I change it? I don't know anything.
Yeah. It's from the ones.
It's
Is this what you guys see, by the way, when you go back to the local page? Are you guys on light mode or dark mode light? It's light. Okay. Is the localhost page also light for you guys?
that's which was
Dark for you guys? Okay.
Wait, where's the local host page?
If you just alt tab, if you alt tab to the previous tab, that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
No class. Text type.
Wait, say what?
Text type. Text type minus. That's its option. Then you have to have confused. If you do this and stuff, it's maximus.
How do you make it?
You could get in 5x. Sure, it's that.
I love it.
So he added this. Yeah,
Or like your dependency.
As everybody brought up.
Reset. Vincent, we good? Cool.
Vincent was missing the classes.
The classes.
It's fine.
Should I just copy and paste it in Discord step by step? So.
Yeah, you could paste it.
The thing is, Evan, is it's okay if I'm following the steps, because I'm trying to write down like notes and stuff too, so. Good.
Let's not have you multitasking.
Yeah. No, I
Alright.
think that's good.
All right, let's keep it pushing then.
This is way more important.
Yeah, so this is what we have right now. Unfortunately, it feels like it's too close to the edges, right? So this is what we're gonna do, right? You see how in the Figma there's like a margin to it on both the X and Y axis?
I know.
So this is what we're gonna do. On the parent class, gonna add another class name. And what we're gonna type is max W, let's have it, I think 7XL and MX auto. Basically, what that does is it adds a max width to the parent container for that parent div, and then it centers it horizontally. Yeah.
Could you read out the max, like what's after max?
Max dash W dash 7XL. Cool. And then MX dash auto.
Wait, is there after on the 7X though?
Space.
Space.
And then MX dash auto.
It's not like a limit the space it takes.
Yeah, so what max width 7XL does is adds like a maximum width to that element, so that it doesn't get bigger than 7XL, like that's assigned width. MX auto, what that does is basically the margin on the x-axis, it evenly distributes that automatically on both sides, right? So if the entire screen is like this much and the certain div is like this, if you add MX auto, it centers it so that there's equal space on both sides on the x-axis. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So if you want to center stuff, you use MX auto. Nick, we cool?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Go back to your localhost 3000 tab. This is currently what it looks like. Now you could see that the margin that was applied to the parent div is on the sides over here, right? That's that much margin. I think that's good, but it seems like the text is a bit too big. So instead of 8XL, let's try 6 for the H1 and then see how it looks. That looks a lot better, right?
Yeah.
Over here, we see that there's some space from the top. So let's add some margin to the H1. So if you go to the H1, go to the very end, and within the class name, make sure it's behind the double quotes. It has to be between the double quotes. Do MT dash, say 20, and then save, and then go back. Now, if you guys are on your local, it should look like this. There should be some space at the top there. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Cool. So what MT-20 means is margin top 20, which is like an arbitrary value that Tillman declares. So it added margin to the top of that element with a space of 20. So that's how you add margin. Cool. Now let's add this tagline. You just copy that. So right under the H1, make sure it's not within the H1, but right under it, right? Type in H2, press enter, and then type in join the waitlist in the first elevate you're working with focus flow. I think for the actual workshop, we should include like all this text in a place you can copy and paste and have to type in. But yeah, even if you type in gibberish, like for now, it's just a problem, right? You don't gotta worry about spelling. Nick, we cool? Okay.
Speaking of thing.
We said? All right, cool. So a brief description about what H1 and H2 is. So H1 is basically like the first header. So on any web page, right? Like the title of a blog will be put into H1. The titles of its chapters would be put in H2. It's just a way of organizing different text, different headers, right? So H1 is like, the main header, H2 is like the secondary header, H3 is like the third header, right? So we'll have our tagline be in H2. And if you go back to localhost, you'll see that it's not centered. You guys see that? So to fix that, what we're gonna do is same thing, add a class name. So right next to that two, the first tag, press space and then type in class name equals double quotes. What we're gonna do is let's make the text a little bit bigger. So let's say text XL font semi-bold, W bit, and then MX auto. Let me know when you guys are there.
What's the name? It's MT or NT?
Empty. You cool? All right, if you go back, you can see that now it's centered just like the main header. It's a bit too close to it, so let's add some margin top to it as we did before. So go back to its class name, do NT. This time let's do 10 instead of 20. Let's say.
We go back.
Where?
MT10. Same thing that we did with the first header. You cool? Let's move forward. All right. Now we're gonna add a button that says join the waitlist. And what this button is gonna do is gonna send to another page. You see how this is the main page, and then when you press join the waitlist, it takes you to like that email sign up form. To do that, we're gonna have to import a component. So if you go at the very top where it says import image, hold on. Right underneath that, press enter and then type in import link from double quotes next slash link. If you guys get the autocomplete, just press tab. Yeah, let me know when you guys get there. Did you guys import it? Yeah. Now let me get a thumbs up from everybody just to make sure we're all on the same page.
It automatically imports. Like once you type it in.
Yeah, once you type it in, basically what an import is if you want to use a certain component that Next.js or another library has, you can import it. Basically, it's saying like, this is what I want, give it to me, and then you're able to use it in your code for that page. So what we're gonna do now, right under that H2, type in link, then press enter. Now you're gonna see a red squiggly line over here within link. Basically, what it needs is a property called href. Same way, give it a class name, set up a class name this time, give it an href equals double quotes, and then do slash waitlist. Let me know when you guys are there. What href is basically the URL or the address that it's gonna send to when you press on it. So link, like, any link, right, on a web page, when you press on it, it redirects you to another page. Href is like the address that it redirects you to. You said?
It's like an error.
What does it say?
Build file.
Yo, Mohi, can you help out Nick real quick? He's getting a build error.
Right, yeah.
Bro.
Oh,
Yep. Got it. Thumbs up. We ready to move on? Cool. So yeah, basically now you can put a link in your webpage. So let's type in join the waitlist. Within the two tags. Keep in mind every HTML element, and this is what HTML is like, div, h1, link, whatever, all that stuff is like the structure on a web page. It always has a closing tag and an opening tag. If you want to put something inside of it, you put it in between those two tags. The closing one is the one that starts with a slash at the very beginning. So to put something in the link, type in join the waitlist, save, and then if you go back to the local host, you'll see a button over here. Now it needs a lot of styling. Right now it's just text. If you press on it, you'll notice it says this page cannot be found. That's because the waitlist page doesn't exist yet. We'll create that later. For now, let's go back. Let's style this. We look in Figma, you can see that it's a button that is rounded and centered and the text is bold. Oh, semi-bold actually. So let's apply those classes to the link element. So go back to your link and then add a class name, just as we did before. Class name equals double quotes. Then within there, let's say text dash XL font dash say semi-bold. Now let's give it a color. What color should the button be? I'll let you guys choose. Red. Okay, big red button. To apply colors to different elements with Tailwind, what you do is you type in BG, BG's for background. So BG dash red dash, and then you have a couple options for like the brightness of the red that you want. I see let's go for 500, it's probably the most vibrant. And then also do W dash fit, MX dash auto, and then MT dash 10 to give it spacing and center it. We set. Thumbs up.
I just have a question. This might be a dumb question, but like when you do like MX dash auto, MT dash 10, like what is there a name for that stuff? Like are those like commands?
I think you should classes.
Classes. Gotcha.
Oh, right. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what these classes are. So Tailwind is basically HTML is a structure of a web page. CSS is like the styling, right? So text, images, videos, whatever you see on a web page that's done through HTML. CSS is stuff that you apply to HTML to give a color and shade, basically the styling, right? Tailwind, what Tailwind is a collection of class names in CSS so that you don't have to write CSS by hand. It's just it's a faster way of writing CSS. And all of these commands that we're talking about, like BG, red, empty, whatever, those are called classes. Classes in CSS is where you'll give to an element in HTML to give it a certain style. And Tailwind is just like a pre-built list of CSS styles just to build stuff faster. Instead of having to write CSS manually one by one, it gives you a bunch of classes that you can use faster. That was a good question. Okay, now that we've applied the style to that link, let's go back and then let's check it out. Is that what you guys see? Cool. Yeah, so a problem right now is that it's not centered, right? And it doesn't have padding either. And the corners, even though you can't tell because it's kind of small, the corners are sharp. So first, let's fix the corners and the padding, and then we'll center it. For some reason, I've come to notice MX Auto with Fit doesn't work on link tags. So what we're gonna do is we'll put that in a parent div, and then we'll center its container div. But for now, let's just get rid of those two styles. Just highlight that, press backspace. Now let's give it some padding so that there's space between the text and the rest of the button. We don't want the padding to be equal on both the Y and X axis. So let's do PX-4 and then PY-2. And then it automatically completes it for me. If I press tab, it just adds rounded-MD. So what those classes mean, P in Tailwind is short for padding. So padding on the X-axis, so on its sides, gives it a value of 4. Padding on its top and bottom is going to be 2. And rounded-MD basically gives it a medium rounding in its corners. So you save and go back. Now you'll see that it looks like an actual button, right? Now we got to center this. So go outside the link, right above it, between opposing H2. And then let's add a div that's centered. Now, if you already know the classes you want to add to the div, and you haven't created yet, a shortcut is to just type in div, period, or dot, and then do w-bit dot mx dash auto, and then press enter, and then it creates that div for you with those classes. We cool?
You said.
So if you want to create a div with the classes you already have in mind, a faster way of doing it is to just type in div dot w-bit dot mx auto. So each dot is basically a new class that you're going to apply. So then dot mx dash auto, and then press enter. They create the div for you?
Yeah.
Nice, let's go. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. This link tag, we're gonna put it in that div. So we're just gonna highlight this, the entire link, Command X, and then paste it in the div, Command V. And to indent it properly, highlight the link tag and just press tab to have it be within that parent container.
Could you go with that again, please?
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna put this link in that div. You have that div created? Okay. So just highlight link the entire thing. And then do Command X or Control X if you're on Windows. So that's to cut and then paste it. And then right in the middle of the two tags, just paste it. And if it's not indented properly, right, like if it's on the same axis or vertically, highlight that link, press tab, just so that you could tell that it's clearly within that div. That's it. Are we set? Thumbs up? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are set. Like, actually, I need this indicator to know we're all on the same page. Cool. All right, now the button is centered. So we have a button, we have the header. Let's give it some space at the top. So in that div with the w-bit mx auto, let's add a margin top. So that's mt-10 in the class. You said? Cool. All right, let's add a little bit more styling to that link tag. I want some way of knowing that this is a button I could press. So if it could change color when you hover over it, that would be pretty cool. And Tailwind provides that. So if you go back to the class name, let's just do it right next to that BD red. Add a new class. It's going to be called hover, and then colon, and then BG dash. What color should it be when we hover? Let's make it green. Yeah. All right. Green dash 500, and then sage. Basically, what that means is whenever you hover over it, this class is applied, right? So if you go back, you hover, you see that it turns green. Any questions?
Can you go back to the code part?
Yeah. So within the link, add a new class, hover, colon, BD dash green dash 500. Yeah. You want me to zoom in on the things?
I can see a big block. I think I put it right, but it's not on track.
Is there a space between the hover and the colon? The BG and the colon? It's hover, colon, BG dash green, no spaces. Within the link class. Does that work for you guys? Sometimes it might be like a typo. That happens often.
Okay, I got it.
You got it? Cool. All right, let's go back to localhost. Now you can see if you hover, you get the indicator that you're actually hovering over it by turning the view. If we go to Figma, all that's left is these three cards. So let's look at these cards and see what's actually included in them. So there's like a title for the card, a description. I know we didn't include this within the design, but it makes sense to have an icon for each card, right? All right, so let's do this. Let's go back to the code. And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna scroll all the way up. And you see where this return keyword is at? Right above it, right? Let's push this down and do that by pressing enter. Right above it, over here, where there's a function name and then the return. In there, let's create a new variable called cards. What you do is you type in const space cards equals, and then square brackets. Basically, what that is you're creating a new array and you're giving it the name cards. Nick, cool? Cool. So what an array is basically a list. And what we're going to do is create a list of 3 different cards that have a title, and description, and also an icon. So within this array, the square brackets, let's add some objects in there. So right in the middle of the 2 square brackets, press enter. So it's on a new line. And now you do curly brackets. So that's shift, and then you press the key right next to P, right? With the curly brackets, square brackets. And then you add in a new object. Now an object has fields that you can use, right? And the fields that we need for the cards is a title and a description and an icon. First, let's do the title and description.
Yeah.
So do title, and then colon, and then double quotes, focus sessions. You set? Cool. All right. Now right next to that title field, add a comma outside of the double quotes. Then add in a description, colon, double quotes, same thing. We're just gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it. And I'll leave it out there for you guys to type it out.
Is there a space after the colon where you get a double quote or description?
It doesn't really matter, but you probably add a space so it's easier to read.
You have a charger.
Charger for what, laptops? Yeah, there's a USB-C charger. You have a USB-C charger? I can still do it. Yeah. How's the audio, by the way? Like, is that... it is, yeah. So, it's all right. All right.
You could understand it if you want.
Huh?
You could understand it if you want. You could understand.
Oh, like the quality's not good, but it's like.
Yeah, if you're trying.
Okay. You set? All right, Abner, let me know when you're ready and we'll move on. Okay, cool. All right, so now this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna add 2 more objects for each of those cards. So on the outside with these curly braces, at the last curly brace, add another comma. And then copy that curly brace, that object. So the curly brace is title description. Copy, and next to that comma, press enter, and then paste. Ben Carter, reset?
Yeah.
All right, and then do it again, just so we have 3 objects. All that we have to do now is just replace the title and the descriptions. So let's go to Figma, paste that in over here. The second title is going to be task management. Second description is going to be manage to-dos and get more done each day. Set. Cool. Yeah.
Wait, should we be able to see the cards in the next other tab?
Not yet. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what we did. So in this function, we created a new variable that's an array. An array is a list of 3 objects with the field's title and description. But we haven't actually like rendered it in the browser on the page yet. To render it, we're gonna go back to our HTML. That's where it has this return keyword. So right there, let's go under the second to the last div over here. Press enter, just have some space. And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a new div, type in div dot, then type in grid dash, div dot grid dot grid dash calls dash reset. All right, so this is going to be the parent container for our cards. Basically, it's going to make a grid with 3 columns. That's what those classes are. Pretty intuitive to understand Tailwind classes, right? You know, grid obviously means a grid. So within that div, this is what we're going to do. First, let's make sure we're all set. You guys have that div created?
Yeah.
Nick, you good?
10.
Okay. Cool. Now within that div, this is what we're going to do. To render variables, we're going to have to use some JavaScript. So this is going to be like a lot more like actual programming. So we're going to do curly spaces. That's going to open up 2 curly spaces. Press enter on a new line. And then type cards dot map. And then parentheses again. And then card, comma, index. And then go to the outside of that parentheses, so behind the last one. And then type in equals, and then forward arrow, and then more curly spaces, so curly spaces one more time. Press enter, and then type in return, and then parentheses. I know that was a mouthful. I'm going to zoom in just so that you guys can see the syntax here. Cards dot map, and then parentheses, and then within those parentheses we'll have one more parentheses with a card and then index, and then a forward arrow that's just equals, and then shift dot to create that arrow on your keyboard, and then curly braces, and then return. Cool. Reset. Okay, so this is what this is doing. Cards is our array of objects, and what the map function does is basically loops through each object in the array, and then it returns something. And the card and index is basically a way of accessing the object in that array, and also its place in that array. So card, this could be anything, by the way. This is just a placeholder. We could just call this X. We could call it like, well, it makes sense to call it card because semantically makes sense. But that's going to be the name of the object that is looping through, like at that moment. And index is its place in the array. So is it like the first object, the second object? And then the return is like the HTML that it's going to return back. So in the return, let's press enter. And then let's create a new div. So type in div dot border dash. What color should we make the border? I'll let you guys decide.
Green.
So what?
Oh wait, no, green.
Blue. All right. So type in border dash blue dash say 500, and then press it. Yeah,
I'm
so
so.
I checked like my other page and it says there's an error. No error.
yeah. Yo, Mohan, can you help out Nick?
Oh, so this is like.
Nah, man, is that
No, I go to syntax. This is extra.
bad part? You guys good?
Get there.
Lock, are you good?
Yeah, we got the same.
Yeah.
You guys got the same error? Yeah. Let me check it out. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Is that the same error?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that not close for all here?
Is it the same topic?
Is there? Oh, you've got a comma over there. Right there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We need some way of separating each other.
I was confused.
Yeah, I get you.
Any other issues? As soon as you guys have an issue, just like ask me.
We set? Let's move forward. Cool. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna loop through the cards you rate. And then for each card, it's gonna return a div that has a blue border. Now to actually display the text within the div, let's do this. Let's type in span, and then dot, font dash bold. Dot mx dash auto. You said?
Like, oh, your head's like blocked.
Oh, my fault. So a little bit about the difference between a div and a span. Essentially, they're not that much different. But the thing with the div is that it takes up the full width of its container, whereas span it takes up its. Am I wrong there, Mohi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good.
The span doesn't take up the width of its container; it takes up all the width of its content. Yeah.
So I have like span dot font. How do what's the rest of that?
Dash bold and then space mx dash auto. We set. All right. So in that span, type curly braces and then do card dot title. Cool. So what that is basically whatever title that card has is gonna put that inside that span. So now let's go under the span. This time let's add the description. And this time let's use a P tag. A P is short for paragraph. Let's just do P dot, and let's give it some space at the top. So let's do MT dash, let's say 4, and press enter. You set?
I just got to the card dot title part.
Mhm.
So after that, I do.
Outside of the span, make a new element called P, and then give it the class name of MT dash 4.
What is like the span and the P?
Yeah, so P is basically short for paragraph. So if you want to have like a large block of text, put in a P tag. Span is usually used for like a text in line. So if you have a P element, if you have a paragraph and one word is bold, you'd apply a span to it with like a class for a bold text. So it's usually used for like inline text.
This was supposed to look like right now.
Yep. Yeah. Save it actually. Let's go back and look at what it looks like. So this is what it looks like right now. 3 loop boxes that are right next to each other with text. Obviously this looks kind of shitty, so we gotta make it look better. Let's go back to our text. I know you guys are running some errors with the key props. So this is what we're gonna do. In that,
It went through. It's just like it's just a little off, like from like yours.
yeah.
The that's cool.
Mhm. We're still gonna have to do this as a best practice, but the error is still there. It's just not showing in the browser, but it's in the console. In that div, right after the class name, but before the closing arrow, give it a space and then type in E, press enter, curly brace, and then index. Basically, when React, which is like the what Next uses to like display items, to display content on a web page, if it's looping through an array, each item needs like a unique identifier. That's what we're going to use the index for. That's not anything we have to worry about now. It's just a best practice. But yeah, now let's add actual text. So within that p tag, have a curly brace that says card.description. Is that cool? We save. We could see that these cards are too close to each other. There's no space. Let's go back to the code. On the parent container for the cards over here, right above like this chunk of code, right, where the grid calls classes are. Let's add a couple more classes. Firstly, let's do rounded dash MD so that the cards are rounded. And then let's do MT dash, let's say 10. And let's say, now let's check it out. Now to add a spacing in between the cards, let's do gap, just dash, let's say 3. That. So if you look back on the cards now, you can see that there's space in between them. Now the only problem it seems is that these cards they need space within, like the text needs space and it's too close to the edges of the card. So let's go back to the div within the return here under the cards. In the class name, let's do p dash 4 and then rounded dash MD. I put rounded MD for the parent table. That was a mistake. It doesn't matter. It actually needs to be done for each card's box, like its container. So save and then go back. And now it looks a lot better, right? Reset, we're ready to move forward. Any errors, any questions? Now's the time to ask. Cool. Yeah. I don't like how it's too close to everything here. So let's go back and for that container div right above the cards, instead of MP10, let's say MP20. Actually, let's make a 40 instead. There we go. And then let's make the title, the card titles a little bit larger. So in this span over here, which says font bold MX auto, let's also add text, XL, save it. There we go.
Does it matter like where you put like each description? Like say if you put like the font or say if you did like the MX auto like first before like the text.
No.
If you go back to the text, you just put it.
Yeah. So in the span, give it a new class, text dash itself, just to make the font bigger. Reset. Cool. So let's go back to Figma. We have our cards, we have our header, the tagline. We have the button. We didn't add icons. You guys want to add icons?
What's icon? Oh yeah.
No.
Icons. Wait, like what do you mean icons?
Like button icon?
Like
Like a picture.
yeah, like a picture.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, so this is what we're gonna use. We're gonna use an icon library called Lucid. They have pretty nice icons. Firstly, let's just decide which icons we're gonna use for each card. So for focus sessions, maybe a clock icon. You think this would look good? Right? And then for task management, is there like a to-do icon? Or checklist. Okay, that's cool. And then progress tracking. What icon are we gonna use for that?
Check.
Notepad. All right. Okay. Cool. So this is what we're gonna do. Firstly, we're gonna have to install Lucid. So open up the terminal, do Control, and then that squiggly line next to the one on the keyboard to open up your terminal. You guys get that? Yeah? Okay, cool. Now this is what we're gonna do. In your terminal over here, there's a plus icon. You guys see that? We're gonna open up a new icon. And you're gonna type in npm I, so npm space I space LUSID, Lucid, and then dash react. Let me make sure that's the right. Installation. Okay, cool. Yeah. So npm I Lucid dash react. And press enter. You set? Yeah. All right. Let's keep it pushing. So now that we have the Lucid icon library, we have to import the icons that we want into our project. So at the very top where we have the imports, let's add a couple more. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to write import and then curly braces. And then we're going to import clock. We're going to import, let me go back to get the specific names of each icon. There's like a to-do icon, right? List to do. So list to do, what's that? 10 up. Yeah. Yeah, it's already 5. Shit. Yeah, so list to do. That's a capital L within list, no space to do, comma, and then the other one. What was it? Notepad, you said?
Yeah.
Which one is good? Is it this one? And then notebook, pen, no space, capital P, capital N. And then outside the curly braces, it should auto-complete it from, should say from Lucid React. We set? Okay. Now let's add these icons to the objects. So let's add a new field to the icons, to the objects. Call it icon, colon, and then it should autocomplete. If it doesn't, we'll just figure it out. So it should look like that. We should probably swap clock and list to do with each other. Yeah, let's put list to do here. And clock at the top. Reset. Nick. Okay. It's more or less the same. Yeah. So cool. All right. Now to actually render the icons, we're gonna have to put it in this return statement at the bottom of the parts. So right above the span, let's just do card.icon. Let's save. And then let's see how it looks. So you guys should have this right now. You guys have that?
Wait, what did you type in to get that?
Curly space card.icon right above that space. You said it?
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys should see the icons now. It's already 5 o'clock, so I'll just leave it up to you guys. You guys want to cut it here, or you guys want to keep going? Because
I think we should at least deploy it now.
deploy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we might as well. It should be. Yo, Mohi, it's not deployed. Not today.
Do you guys want to deploy it?
I mean, it's up to you guys. Like, I got time, but we've already been here for an hour and a half.
I mean, it's gonna take 5 more minutes.
All right, okay. Fuck it, let's deploy.
What is deployment just on?
We're making the website live.
Like, oh, so it's like anyone can visit the page?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Is the comment in there semicolon?
No, semicolon off. Okay, go back. Scroll up.
Just like the comment.
Alright, so it
Just
says
saying like
notebook
in this
and
one.
here, we wrote notes at. Restart.
Save and go back.
Yeah, there you go.
How are you feeling? What do you guys think of this workshop so far?
That's pretty cool.
like, no, that's only because I was focusing on the takeaways. Like, as a business student, I've like kind of wanted to go into like learn coding forever, but what stopped me is like, oh, coding. Like, it's like I'm worried it's like hard to learn, but this is awesome. Like, this is the best intro I could ask for.
Just build you into like a bit of something and just push you into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And like Evans, you did a great job providing an overview and stuff. So like, this was like the perfect.
Let's save it
intro.
for the interview.
Yeah, don't worry.
Oh, you want to thought?
Yeah, let's talk about
Actually, let me
deployment.
do the product.
You got it.
Cool, everybody's on, right? Yep. So now we're gonna deploy.
I think it's
We're gonna put this website there for your friends to see. You're gonna get your own domain, like my favorite website dot courses. Yeah, it has to end with dot courses dot app. If you don't want it to end with that, you have to pay money. Like to buy a domain. But like we have EClub domains, if you want to use that as like a non-subdomain, then you can. But what we're gonna do is, yeah, we're gonna deploy now. So, cool. We're gonna go to Vercel.com. This is the website we're gonna use for deployment. We have like a EClub space there. I think it's in a different account. But if you want to go to Vercel.com and authenticate with GitHub, sign in. Sign in with GitHub. Vercel.com.
Yeah. Maybe the base is like that's what all dogs.
Yeah, sign up, log in.
Better have it.
Oh, you have to sign up.
On Notion, I tried to put like decent, pretty in-depth. But I was thinking, since we had to the longest time.
I'll just show you how to sign up with that. So like this is a private tab. I go to Vercel.com. If you press on login, then you might have to press on sign up here. And then go for projects. Yeah, today something my team. whatever it is. And then
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it.
So it's just
And
a
then it's
slide.
gonna bring you pretty much.
Like, no,
Yeah,
seriously.
it's gonna show you
Like,
this page.
Keep an eye. I feel like.
Actually, not sure. Yeah.
The thing I want to do is
It might be on
Yeah,
that.
you did a great job. Pacing was good too.
Actually, we have to commit our code first. So, what I want you guys to do is,
after the workshop.
go to
Yeah.
the code editor tab back again.
Something a lot of
Code editor. Go to this thing on the left called source control. What we're doing here is we're telling GitHub that we have these changes. We want to push them up. So that Marcel could then look at it and then deploy our website. So like GitHub is where you push your code up, and then Marcel is going to pull something. So go over to GitHub, the repository we were at. Go to the repository folder.
Internal dash web dash.
And business tips might not show up.
You guys would
Like, if you
probably
made
did
this
this
like
thing
no
where you can go
experience,
space in that.
anyone like, bring your
Instead, you
laptop.
may want to
and
do this, go back to this repository, internal web dev repository. Oh, no, wait, dev.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get into.
One thing I've also.
Oh, you have to sign up.
Oh,
Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. I don't think about that.
You're on GitHub. Yeah.
So that's
The link is on
yeah,
the
CS
Discord.
don't even go into this.
You'd be surprised, like.
And then for kids, just click on fork.
So
Yeah,
even
that's the
Lloyd
same
told me like when you're starting.
Then free
CS
form.
VP, those
So the fork button
first
should be,
things you start to test programs, rather than like, what is a program?
Exactly, yeah.
I can't imagine.
Just click on fork, create the fork.
Yeah, well, it's because, they're teaching how to get it in through.
And then create it.
Because they don't really let you test.
Yeah.
Let you do it from there.
Right, like that's just kind of what I was thinking, like that's what they're students.
I feel like, and then, yeah, what you guys want to do is go to this code thing, local, and copy this.
And ask you to do a project, which is the only good thing. It's good classes.
Yeah, this link here.
Well, because you learn by doing, right?
Yeah,
I mean, just what we did right now.
It's not the.
No, this is great, right? Like, this is all the workshops you put together, like, this is impressive.
It's just, we didn't put it out there. Yeah.
Well, this is just the first stuff.
I mean, even last year.
There's also like a kind of complicated project. AI to like calculate how many calories you ate. I mean, the tutorial is online off 4 hours.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
No, but I mean, in person, that's a one. Another thing, I'm just thinking is like, are you guys?
You guys are there. Just go to code. Just go to code and then copy this link here. Copy this link from here.
Really?
Should say copy. Yeah.
And
After copy, just go back to your code editor.
like,
And then
how
give
do
me
you
what
use
to do,
it?
shift command,
Draft.
shift control P, shift command P, paste
I was
on.
hoping you just see, but it did take.
And then do
Yeah.
remote, get, add remote.
Oh, there's a whole
Yeah,
other
so
workshop.
I should say, if you type remote,
Yeah.
after this, should say get add remote. I guess there.
Right.
So we did on this, shift command P, add a one workshop, one day design.
You press enter, right? Name it, if you press enter there, it's gonna ask you for remote name, make that upstream. Or like my repository.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like the.
It's
just, we're gonna do like recording one.
And then you can leave here, press enter, it's gonna ask you add remote from GitHub.
Or like a series where maybe
Oh,
the first one
yeah, you do that.
is connected to
Allow.
those, seriously.
Allow your account.
So,
I don't know why it's there.
For some reason, I searched building the SaaS. And 1 hour. Okay, and the 10-minute videos take 1 hour to like, oh, the video guy. Yeah.
Hey Jake, are you a freshman?
Yeah.
So, me too.
You press P. Equal do.
That's for
Oh, P.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was trying to get.
B again. P for potato. Yeah, the remote. Yep, enter. Enter. I should say add remote from GitHub, press enter on that. And then, yeah, allow it, whatever it asks. Click on your account. Do that again. There's about 52 gigabytes.
Oh, yeah. CS one.
I met Ahmed on a plane before we did.
Oh,
Yeah, right?
Yeah, if you run Loki much, Australian track with name
most of the
So it was like 6 a.m. I was dead asleep at the airport trying to keep my head down. Some girl just I've never met her waiting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, I don't want to talk to anybody right now.
did you
In Denver too.
Yeah, like no. Yeah, like I did a trip here in Chicago in a land hotel eating breakfast, and the guy was like, "Oh, no."
I saw some wedding like there's flag like
No Whenever wear that stuff in India, no, like I'm the only one that's remember percent. Yeah. And then if you go to the source control tab, you add a message or something like my changes. Something like my changes here.
Oh,
And then you press commit. You should say like the plus. You guys on that? Yeah.
You go over that stuff.
Yeah. So you type something here in this tab, in the source control tab.
That looks fun.
Yeah.
It's like a church. It's like a church.
Yeah.
Where do you find source control?
It's the third tab.
Right.
But
Oh, I got it.
yeah, just type a message there. My changes and
How do you feel about that?
it's gonna ask you this.
No, I thought it was,
I think
it was
that
pretty
would be
good
good.
actually. Just based on what everyone was engaged.
Yeah, it's gonna ask you.
Kind of just check out.
You press yes, that's on stage.
No, I thought
Yeah,
that was
it's gonna warn you. So
seriously.
just press yes.
And like, when
And
I
then
say
sync
like,
it up.
I've been this mental block for like a year. I'm like, why don't you like learn some coding, just watch some videos that I never have. And this kind of like shattered all the fear, like that I had inside the repository. So like, this is great.
I just liked it. I think now that I see go down over. That's not attack.
And I'm gonna actually follow through, once I quit. Yeah, no, I was gonna say is like, I've never, maybe I'm sure there's, resources online, but like seeing someone walk you through like, okay, this is Fig, this is, that was like really helpful. Yeah.
No, we're.
Hey, like I have a CS shop class. I went to like CS. I wanted to pay attention until that's so bad. Like I was trying so hard. Like I was putting my phone log, everything. You guys should have it. I started going to the other section. That's how bad it was.
So your phone contact.
Wait, is it like published now?
If you go to your newly created repository by board,
Really?
it should say
What are the
one
courses?
comment ahead.
What kind of stuff you learn?
So if I go back, if I sync this up.
Yeah,
Like a pretty umbrella branch.
Yeah,
so you take
classes.
I go right over the Yeah, I was gonna say this, yeah, this branch is one comment behind.
Like the raw space.
Yes, the same.
This weekend.
With the same guy? Cool. So, I'll be very much in the thought. I would have a code push check.
Right.
Same guy, right?
So like, the different areas of class.
Now just go back to our stuff. Create a new project.
What do you say?
If you're not there, then there should be a create button.
It's easy to use.
And like,
And I mean, so I'm considering, like, I'm pretty passionate just about the world and stuff like that. Like, I mean, big stuff, like, fun stuff like that, like, that's kind of what I do.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong.
Cool. Should be on the top, 8 minutes ago or something. So that's and then you give it a project name, you could give it. I think you could be able to give it a domain
They gave it
name,
a
now,
whole major.
but now you just
Might be worth it. The data, you know.
A lot of overlap. Is it going?
Yeah, you'll have.
Yeah.
My thing is, I'm EIT right now, and I'm like, I met with Professor Paul, and he's like, you know, Betsy, you're gonna get spot on. Like, graduate early, like, really cram stuff.
If you click on build results, you should see it's trying to build that website. If you click here, yeah,
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
you're gonna see it's really not much production.
But then kind of molded, he's like, let's say, if you wanna learn. Get online, cause CS isn't gonna teach you anything about web. That's what I was considering.
I think
Now I'm
most
just
of them
thinking,
are probably have too much
I'm thinking I might do it.
Yeah, we need to get it. Yeah. That's why like I haven't focused on it. So we haven't.
Let's go. So now if you continue the dashboard,
Everything, not everything, but we have, you know.
you don't have to, keep the name lowercase and without space.
All of you considered.
Yeah, great.
It's
Alright,
honestly,
I'm
we should just, like,
I haven't
feel like
declared
for now,
a major or anything, but I
just
could probably
every
take
morning
it
we
towards
should
the end.
And I feel like you should like fully prepare.
Right.
You might not like it. I think you was.
Like I got some pretty like, I've got some, I'm pretty passionate about a lot of stuff. So like for me, like one of the things that just kind of hold me back. Like,
Yeah.
I actually do,
Also,
like,
let's make it a habit to post in the morning.
converse
I've
with
noticed
people.
like some of the reels that we posted in the morning just a lot
For
better.
me, it's like, I don't want to, just like the perception of, you know, your perception, you know, like that's, for me, like I don't want to, I want to put out. Like,
The first thing you see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I find
What's the
myself
first thing you
thinking
do?
back a lot of times.
You go to your conference.
Yeah. Because of that, you know, that's be your domain. So like, I'm worried, like, maybe I don't say this.
That's.
They don't really
I
want
think
to
so,
use
yeah.
it. I'm not saying.
I don't know their own
say it.
Let's try posting. Let's try posting in the morning.
You know what I mean?
That's why-
Like, you kind of get what I'm getting at?
I think it's normal account, but we can this is professional domains. Really?
Open-mindedness is all about.
And then,
If you're not customized, I just show how to customize. Stop sharing.
Right.
you feel like.
Yeah.
We've got so.
Yeah, if you continue the dashboard, go
Like, I've never been in a class, like, okay, you guys like.
Oh, of course.
but if you continue the dashboard, there should be a settings tab on the top. If you
Not
click
like
that,
the tenth.
you should have a domain thing on the left,
Or like,
and then you should have it.
make an argument for this and come to the counter argument.
Yeah, you can make anything dot versa dot.
Well, consider other. It's definitely,
Yeah,
it's definitely
change
gonna
it to
take that.
dot versa dot app.
Let's keep in touch about it. I'll tell you how I like it.
Yeah, let's treat this. I mean, you can save it and.
Yeah.
Consider saving that. Yeah, I'd say if you do something else, it's gonna sell your city. Your work. So you enjoy the. Yeah, if you go back to your code editor.
Honestly, like, I think the main. But we have like sometimes all these photos, and we just like post those like different posters and stuff, you know, just like posting like nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Just posting like nice. High quality photos. I have other interviews, like, also interviews, just build this. Yeah, it's like a cool, like 8 minute long interview. It's a really high quality one, maybe we can edit it up. So,
Yeah, never really.
You guys got to.
honestly, after that,
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to also this thing.
we can start
Yeah,
that next week. Next week we can meet up during the week whenever you guys are free. And I'll get a couple dollars in my pocket.
I guess this is good.
$5 for this idea. You know?
And
Just
like,
I
also,
there's online.
Also, I feel like.
And then I wanna get a consistent.
Yeah.
We just
Minus the
Tuesday or
cool.
every Thursday morning. We have
Every
Every Tuesday morning, we have close to like whatever soccer records are. You know what I mean?
No,
Whatever, and then we kind of have like a schedule. Right now, it's just a matter of.
Oh, but dude,
Yeah, you should
This
just.
is kind of there. And also, I kind of want to organize Instagram account, like, you know how like we have like a nice exclusive highlights, nice, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Not every.
So as soon as the content gets out, we can do organization and updating.
I don't know.
It is.
For now.
But hey, it's so equal.
Like
But
when we
you
actually.
should, yeah, you should.
Like, I don't want to hear the word like.
It's
Carrots are over.
still
Time
there.
to lose taste. So
It seems like every year.
but
Yeah.
I know, I still want to talk to you about that. Just try to get on Instagram as well.
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for
Thank you for the work.
Let's do some interviews.
Well, I think you said.
I have one all of them. Not last time. But there. You know what I mean? That's the truth.
It is.
I'll call it.
I like that.
Do you want to interview